Here he comes. Hey, Nick.
There we go.
We can't hear you. You're muted. I got to unmute you, I think.
We're playing the mute unmute game.
Yeah. I'm trying to unmute you.
He's unmuted now.
There
Did I
we
do
go.
it?
Yeah, you did it. Yay.
You should know by now, right? You should all know
we all
by
should know.
now.
That's what I mean.
Hey, great to see you both.
Good to see
Yeah,
you.
nice to see you. So how is everything with you?
Everything's awesome. I've just been mixing today, so this is a nice gear shift.
Cool. Are you in Aurelia or are you in Etobicoke?
I'm in Aurelia right now.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
How about you? Where are you, Mike? You look like you are.
This is from Florida. I went to Safety Harbor and took pictures of live oak. Have you ever seen live oak trees? They look like they're dead. But I love this. I love
ironic.
Yeah.
I thought I thought that was the scene from Harry Potter that you had.
Yeah,
just
it does look like. That's why I liked it. I like the Harry Potter stuff. So yeah.
Amazing. So let's talk about how far do you guys go back? I know that you've.
I mean, we're a family, right, Nick? I mean,
yes.
I remember the moment you were born because your dad called everybody. He called my dad. It was like 3 a.m. And I'm like, who the heck was that, Dad? It was Jeff saying he had a birth of a son named Nicholas or Nixon, I guess, at the time.
Yeah. And it took me a few years to become aware of Mike. And I've known him ever since.
That's right. And Nick and Jake played at my wedding in Quebec. Like we had like not a wedding, but a wedding party after the fact. Mm-hmm. And you played like a Blink 182 and a bunch of songs, right? I remember.
Yeah, all the hits.
Amazing. So incredible. Yeah. Now, of course, Nick, you've been, in Hollerado, you're touring with Anyway Gang, you're a very talented producer and doing lots of mixing and whatnot. So it's interesting because you guys have this family tie. But at what, everyone, you see your cousins at the barbecue or whatever, but at what point in time are you like, oh, okay, I'm in, I can help you out with this. I like what you're doing here.
That's a great question. Mike has always been working on music as far as I've known him. And, it was an inspiration to, try and make music myself, from,
Thanks, Nick.
from seeing what he was working on, always something. And it just seemed natural when he first came to me with some songs he wanted some help with, to say yes when he asked me to be involved. The thought of not saying yes never crossed my mind.
And the funny thing is, a friend of my dad's in Florida, he said to me, he heard me play a couple songs. He said, "Can you record that song for me?" And that's kind of what kicked it all off. And I said,
That's true.
Said, hey, can you do a song? Remember?
That was the first thing we collaborated on. Yeah, was that cool. You got a prompt to record that tune. And Mike, I know this record it's like dance tunes. It's basically like, disco electro dance. And what's crazy is that the last thing we worked on was mostly country songs.
That's true.
Before this. So, Mike, you are a versatile writer. You're a versatile musician. Not a lot of people can say they wrote a country album and then just a couple years later made a electro pop record.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean that's my influence. I love Johnny Cash to New Order, so and like everything in between. I don't know if you'd put like Iron Maiden between there, but yeah, that too. Why not? Right.
So next record. It's a metal record next.
Next record, yeah. Actually, Cheer for the Deer. I had aspirations to put metal and heavier rock in there, but I never did it. I was going to. It evolved through the genres, if you notice. So. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. It does. It is a. There are snippets of different genres, like in Cheer for the Deer. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate this this chat, and I also appreciate the connection and like the history you guys have with each other. I did want to talk about when, so Michael Wynn says, "Hey, can you punch up this song?" What track you played synths on a track? Did you not?
Who?
Nick? Yeah.
Did I play synths? I think actually Mike did most of the keys.
You played synth on Capture Love, that one chord.
That's it.
Thing.
That's true.
That one chord. I think that's all you played on this record. Normally you play bass and guitar and stuff, but this time that's all you did, right?
I know. Yeah. Mike had it pretty much covered by the time I got my hands on it. Yeah, I think I did like little tweaks here and there. You know, just because sometimes you hear something, you know, when you're making a record yourself, like Mike has done, you get, you know, can get really close to the thing, and you're like, I've got it, I've got everything that needs to happen here. You know, I'm covering it, and then when it hits sort of a fresh pair of ears, sometimes you hear, you know, one little extra thing. So I did that one little extra thing.
Yeah. And
what's your opinion? Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Nick played guitar, like the excellent guitar solos in like Bane of My Existence, and bass. He plays bass on probably all the other ones except for this record. So he's a talented guy too.
So yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
What do you feel, or how? Because I know Nick, you were talking about, you know, getting that fresh pair of ears to listen. For both of you, what do you think about the idea of imperfections on recordings? Do you like when artists leave them in? Do you feel like there's like a little Easter egg element to that as well?
Yeah, I think they're important. You know, I think too often, you know, you listen to a record and it feels like it wasn't made in the real world. So leaving a little something like, you know, somebody laughing in the background, or like, you know, drummer counting the song in, you know, or even, you know, sometimes somebody will slip up on a lyric and change them, you know, just in the heat of the moment of singing something. And I think it's often, you know, those surprises that bring a lot of life, breathe a lot of life into a record. So when possible, leaving them in, yes.
I have a couple examples. I know Land of Falling Snow, that song we did couple EPs ago. By mistake, I hit like a button and it doubled the time in the drums. I was making the demo. I'm like, that works, right? And then we got Jake to play it in double time. And I was like, that works.
Yes.
One time I've had a piano part in GarageBand and I kind of moved it by mistake into the drums. I'm like, that works as well.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. I never would have things
Yeah.
that you never would have thought about if you're
No.
just writing, you know, with a little help from the universe.
For sure. Definitely. And you have to recognize it, I guess. That's all. Right?
Yeah. Know when it's worth leaving in.
Exactly.
So now I'm wondering, Michael, wait, I always call you Winsy. So I'm always like, I'm struggling to say Michael. I'm like, Winsy, Michael.
You can blame Craig Norris for that. Craig Norris.
I know. God love Craig. When it comes to performing, are you more interested in just getting your creative outlet out there in song, or do you want to bring these songs to stage? Do you want to figure out how to do it live?
I've been thinking about it, and I think it's going to be really difficult, but I think I could probably do it. I was actually going to do this in a live setting, and probably more acoustic than anything, meaning doing an acoustic, maybe some synth. I don't know. I don't know if you know Tonight in Toronto, that bar called Tonight. It's a very small bar, but it's great. I might play there in May or June. We'll see. To do stuff.
It'd be cool to translate them into an acoustic setting, like an acoustic guitar.
It might be, yeah. I might even try to do the synth thing. I don't know. We'll see. You know, but I think it's going to be a challenge, as opposed to the other ones where, you know, there's the bass, drums, guitar. You're done, right? This one, it's like a little trickier. So,
Nick, from a production standpoint, working with songs, you know, does it depend on how you create them when you try to put them in a live atmosphere? Is it much more simple if you, like, depending on how you start? What's your experience with that?
That's a good question. There's definitely, you know, songs from different genres definitely bring a different energy to the stage. You know, and yeah, this stuff is pretty peppy and heavy hitting. But you know, usually, if there's a good song, you know, at the core of it all, it should probably translate to any kind of presentation, to any kind of instrumentation. You know, I think that's a great test of a good song, you know, and I think in this case that would be true.
You know who said something like that? Like years ago when I first played with them, Sloan.
Oh,
Jay
cool.
That's where I'm putting my light on just to make. He said that because somebody said, "What are you gonna do after grunge is gone?" He said, "Grunge is just like a flavor we put on the song. It's all about the songs."
Yeah.
Right? Same thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think there's some truth to that for sure.
Yeah. And you just know because you hear somebody like do "Smells Like Teen Spirit" in a whole different way, and so you know that's the core of the song, but they can do it in any genre, right? kind of tells you the strength of that song, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you hear you hear Beatles songs played by like full orchestras and stuff,
Yeah.
and you're like, wow, that music is really good, no
Yeah,
matter how you
exactly.
play it.
Exactly.
Yeah. When it comes to these tracks, Lindsay, were there any songs that you have various like remixes or various different takes on them?
Yeah, you know what? There aren't.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't know if you heard earlier, Nick, I said the hardest song was probably Deep Scars, just for the vocals on that.
Yeah.
Remember, we kept trying to get that, or it was me, I was having a problem with it, right? So I was trying to get somewhere with that. And finally I think it's right on now. Like it works. But there wasn't anywhere where I think I would have done it differently, because I think it was very close to what I demoed, really. Like some of them are the demos, obviously. But it's just sort of, it's where that's the end point that I got to. And I couldn't imagine them any other way. So.
Because you made this at home, can you explain what your setup looks like? Because everyone has a different idea of a bedroom record or a basement record, garage record.
My setup here is like a computer desk. This is where I do my work, right? This is what I did for the stuff. I had like a computer to my left, and I had my instruments if I needed them to the right. And my dog Ziggy was right here sleeping while I worked at night, right? With my headphones on. Sometimes I'd be inspired. I'd come down and work for a few hours. Sometimes I'd work for like 10 minutes and say, that's it, I can't do it. There's not much here. I just have a couple of instruments. It's mostly computers. So.
Fair enough. Well, what about your vocals though? Where did you record your vocals?
That's a good question. I think I did most of them here. I mean, I don't have the best technique. You can ask Nick about that for recording, but I think I basically just plugged it into something called a Firebox. I don't know if you see that. Probably
yeah, it's showing up sort of through the, through the wilderness.
It's very old. You used to use this on the old Macs to record things. It boosts the signal to the computer. I don't know if you have to do that as much now, but yeah.
Which is interesting because for acoustics or something, when I record my radio show at home, I literally create a fort out of pillows and blankets, and I'm underneath this, so just it doesn't sound as echoey. So I don't know what it's like depending on where you are recording in the world out there.
I think you got to give Nick credit for making it sound better than it did, really. He mixed it, because there was a lot of challenges in probably what he had to mix with what I recorded.
What did that look like for you, Nick?
What does my home setup look like?
Well, no, I don't know anything about mixing a record, so I don't know how challenging it would be when you get these parts sent over to you.
Yeah, so I will say, Mike, like next time, take a page from the Book of Lana and make a little pillow fort.
I expect if I do it at home, you're going to give me some tips, Nick.
Yeah. But it sounded good, and like, you know, your singing was natural and your melodies are strong, and that's the main thing. You can pretty much work with anything, you know, these days. Mixing this was, you know, I felt like making things sounding heavy hitting was important, because Mike's, you know, grooves and synth parts, you know, were all very, very important to get across. You know, and the singing, Mike's singing is relaxed, you know, and you want that to come across as well. You know, it's like the lyricism is there, and the melodies, you know, as long I felt like those were cutting through, and the drum, like I said, the drums and synths were all firing on all cylinders, then it was going to feel right. Yeah, and I mean, I think, you know, the record that Mike made is probably a workflow that a lot of people were experiencing, over the past couple of years. And you know, you hear about, you know, lots of stuff coming out from sort of like people's bedrooms over the last little while, and you know, every time somebody else, you know, puts out a record they made in their bedroom, I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. It sounds so good. And I think there's something too about like, you know, people having like total privacy to make whatever they want, and you know, sort of the lack of, like, you know, inhibition that goes along with that being a good thing, because you're not in a studio with a bunch of people, you know, breathing down your neck to get something right, you know, in the moment. You can take your time and you know, figure it out at your own pace. And I think that's something really exciting about people making stuff from home these days. I think that's great.
Has it changed the way you make music, and Winsy, has it changed the way you work moving forward making music?
I think I'll do my demos here next time, and then I'll go to wherever Nick takes me. If he says do it at home, I'll do it at home, but I'd rather do it in the studio if it's more rock based.
Yeah, I think people are more open to doing it both ways. Like I had to adjust to doing, Lana, as I know you did, to working from home, to recording from home. I wound up doing a lot of writing from home. So like a Zoom session where you just have like, acoustic guitars like this on the screen and like the lyrics up on a page. And I found I really grew to like that because the song has nowhere to hide. You can't put any bells and whistles on it. And there's no vibe in the room, which often makes things exciting. It's like, hey, how you doing? Your buddies are all there and you're having a good time by virtue of that. That's not present, when you just do it over a screen. So you're really focused on the song, which I grew to actually like quite a bit.
Do you know of any apps that would do that now, Nick? Like that can synchronize things? Because synchronizing things is the problem, right? When you want to collaborate with somebody else. It's always layered, like one person, then another person. You know what I mean?
They're still sort of working on it. I don't think it's a perfect science yet. But like for songwriting, I found Zoom works quite well. Because you don't have to be totally synced. You're still just having kind of a conversation. So you don't necessarily have to like be ready, set, go, and like play something through. You take turns demonstrating your ideas.
And there's a special setting I think on Zoom, so it doesn't filter out background noise, so you can play as well, like a live. You have to make sure that you get that right as well.
Totally, yeah. A couple settings. It was a bit of a learning curve at first, but I think everybody's pretty much got it down now.
Wow.
Amazing. Well, I feel like I could talk to you guys forever, and I do know that we have to get through the record. But for what everyone who's tuning in wants to hear the songs, not here. So we should probably do that.
I mean, we'll see what happens, but this might go on longer than I thought, so that's fine. I don't mind that, as long as everybody else likes that too. Lana, thank you so much for hosting. I appreciate this.
It's been so fun. It's nice to see you both. Nice to hear the record. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
And have a great night and happy release day.
Thanks, Lana.
Yeah,
and
congrats,
Nick, you want to stay on? You want to stay on for a second, and then I'll bring on the next guest. Bye, Lana. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Mike.
So you're going on tour soon, right?
I'm going on tour, in just over a month.
Wow, for like a cross Canada tour, or?
Yeah, a couple weeks from Victoria to Montreal, basically.
Right. So Anyway Gang, just so people who don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, with Anyway Gang. Yeah.
It's the same setup from the first Toronto show, right? Anne and Adam.
Exactly. Yeah, same crew. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. That's great. Good for you.
Definitely.
What are you working on lately?
Sorry?
What are you working on lately? Like you did Deanna Petkoff stuff?
Yeah,
right?
Deanna's record is coming out on Friday, so I'm super excited about that.
That's gonna be awesome.
Nice to have a couple releases in the same week. Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
Back to back.
That's awesome.
This and that. I'm doing a band called Deforesters.
Okay.
I'm finishing up that record.
Okay.
I'm finishing up a record for an artist called Castle Frank as well.
I've heard of them. I think I saw them actually at the Garrison.
Yeah.
The Monarch, I saw them actually.
Yes, that's right. They played their first show was just pre-pandemic in like February or something, 2020.
I think I saw that show.
Their first show ever. And so
Girlfriend Material played with them. That's why I saw them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just worked on a couple of Girlfriend Material songs too. We recorded in February 2020.
Okay.
And for the longest time, Graham, right, who is the singer and songwriter in Girlfriend Material, was just kind of sitting on the songs, not being sure what to do with them. And then he was like, you know what, let's finish mixing them. And so we just did, and that was really fun to sort of rehash a project that
that you thought was not going to finish, or maybe you didn't know.
Well, really just the fact that we did all the work literally in the days leading up to everything shutting down, so it was nice to kind of rewind psychologically a little bit.
Wow, awesome. Well, thanks so much for mixing this and doing all this work for me. You didn't produce this time, but hey, you will next time.
What'd you say?
You didn't produce it this time, but you will next time.
But that's fine. I love jumping in wherever I'm needed.
Awesome. Wow. I don't want to keep you much longer, Nick. So
No problem, Mike. Yeah.
But thanks again. I think it turned out as best it could. I think it's pretty good for me, but
it's great.
I really appreciate all your help, and I look forward to the next stuff we do, which I'm already itching to do, but we'll see.
Man, yeah, I'm always there, Mike. I'm always there to do it.
All right, thanks, Nick.
Congratulations again, man.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna bring Raleigh Miller in now. Nick, cheers, man.
Cheers, Mike.
Later. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, congrats. See you later.
See ya.